So many different points of view. Let's get a medical view on this and all the latest coronavirus news. We are joined by our regular Monday morning GP, Dr. Nighat Arif. Morning to you. Lovely to see you as ever. So the likelihood is that the lifting of restrictions is going to be delayed. What are your thoughts?
I think as healthcare professionals, and I will come on every week, and I've always said that if we're going to come out of lockdown, we've got to come out safely. The idea that the 21st of June was going to be Freedom Day, where there was no restrictions on face coverings or physical distancing, and we would go back to how it was, almost the picture that was being painted was back to how it was in 2019, was unrealistic right from the start. And we as healthcare professionals knew that. We know that the Delta virus, which is now the most dominant virus in the UK, but mostly in England as well, has gone exponentially above the Alpha variant as well. And we're seeing cases doubling week on week. And a month's worth of data has shown that this virus is just doubling, which means that actually what we need to do is that although the case numbers are rising, those case numbers will mean hospitalizations. And Graham Satchel's report pointed out that one of the key things is that the argument that I get as a doctor all the time is that, but it's only case numbers, the hospitals aren't overwhelmed. I'm telling you as a GP, general practice and hospitals, we are overwhelmed because we are still managing the backlog. That means routine medical care that you would have expected for cancer treatments or hip replacements or surgeries that you're waiting for are being delayed and delayed and delayed. Those patients need to go somewhere. They need management. And what they do is they come back into primary care to GPs like us. And we are actually really, really struggling at the minute, which means access for patients is harder. And we know that we've had a lot of patients on social media, on my social media particularly, people expressing how difficult it is to see their GP. So if we can ease out slowly, now that'd be better, because that means that we will look at the pressure. Flu season isn't too far away. And August time is when we as doctors start planning for flu season. So that flu vaccination is going to also take precedent as well. So I think it's sensible that the government is looking at this seriously, and they're taking into account that the doubling of the Delta variant needs to be approached in a cautious way. Now, we do have the vaccination program, Louise, and I've come on here many times saying the vaccination program is going fantastically and it's brilliant. And yes, it is. But the vaccination, you need 2 doses, and not everybody has had 2 doses against the Delta variant. And we know that the 2 doses, you definitely need 2 of those vaccines in order to get the coverage that you need. And still, it's only 80% coverage if you get 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine against the Delta variant. And that means that you've got 20% of no coverage, and you can still end up getting the virus. And from data around the world, we're seeing that the Delta variant is more contagious and more prevalent in the younger population who we haven't had a chance to fully vaccinate yet. So that's children, and they're the ones that we need to safeguard, because if the spread starts to happening, then the elderly population will become affected again. And there's the argument is, do we need booster vaccines in the future? There's a lot of things that we're still learning.
Nighat, you've covered so much in that. Thank you very much for that. I also want to ask you just briefly as well, because I think you were watching this football match, weren't you, when Christian Eriksen collapsed, and it was really shocking, and also it's a really kind of key message, lots of key messages to come out of it as well.
Yes, I put out a tweet about how to do CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Now, we know with Eriksen that he did have a cardiac event. And it was shocking because I was watching it with my 10-year-old son. Denmark is in his sweepstake. We did a family sweepstake. So we thought we'd sit down and watch it, not expecting the events that did unfold. And for 15 minutes, he ended up having CPR. I think this is a really good point, just to say, A, life is short, and B, just tell your loved ones how you feel and how you're doing, and tell them that you love them, because life is literally like a light switch. And as a doctor, I've done the CPR out of hospital, in hospitals, many years over the 14 years that I've been a doctor, but it still never prepares you, and it's really shocking. So really quick things that you can do is that just learn how to do chest compressions. And I, like I said, I put a tweet out, but if you can just lock your fingers like this, use the palm of your hand between the nipples in the middle of the chest, and then press 30 times at a rate of 100 to 120, making sure you go 2 inches deep. And allow the chest to recoil again, and continuously doing that. And if you call 999, and if you've got a defibrillator in your building or anywhere that you are, just ask for someone to come and get one. The 999 crew on the paramedic on the phone will talk you through how to use a defibrillator. And that literally is life-saving. And we know that that's what happened with Eriksen. He got the treatment and the CPR and the basic life support straight away. But it felt like so slow. I was like, oh my God, start chest compressions. As I was watching it, it was so distressing.
Yeah.
Louise, I know you want to get me off, but mate, I can't believe you're going. Who am I going to have my cup of tea with now? I'm like, what is going? So I've got CPR that I'm trying to teach everybody now, and my kids, as well as try and cope with the loss of you. I can't believe
you're so sweet. Listen, it maybe means we can have a tea in real life. Thank you so much.
True.
I've loved it. Thank you so much, Nigat. Really appreciate it. We'll talk again. Don't worry.
Good to see Nigat. This